803, welcome to another edition of Animal House Radio on CHHA, Voice of Latina, 1610 a.m. in Toronto, worldwide, www.animalhouseradio.com on your local networks. Check it out. Joe filming the program over here. Dr. Mike in the studio. What's going on, Dr. Mike?
Nothing much. Nice to be in the passenger seat again.
Oh, you did great last week. From what I hear, you did fantastic.
Thanks, dude.
Your lovely daughter is sitting in the back there. Hi, Abby.
Hi, Abby.
Big wave to Abby. She's smiling and she's all she's cute. Very cute. Cute little kid. We got some people in the back. I'm forgetting people's names here. I can't say. Well, you know, last week was in Montreal, so I don't remember much. Janelle on the board from Saskatchewan, Regina. Adriana from the Danforth. Richmond from the Filipinos. The Philippines.
Yes.
The Philippines. Yes. Richmond. How are you, Richmond? Everything's good? Everything's good in the back room over there? Awesome. I really missed you guys last week. I heard you guys had a lot of fun. And hopefully this week you guys don't fire me because, you know, once Aaron gets out of the chair, then Mike is this ultra egocentric man who I heard said that he was the king. And if I heard correctly, he said he was the king, and then it followed by some sort of lion taming voice. There were some lions going at it as soon as he said that he was the king.
That was Richmond.
That was Richmond. Well, Richmond told me that he was under duress and orders from you to play the lion clip. I'd have you know. If anybody's in charge here, it's our wives. That's how we play. Show is brought to you by our good friends at Hills, feedingisbelieving.ca, the makers of Science Diet and Prescription Diet Pet Food, and ismydogoverweight.ca. And you know what? Tonight's show is about, is our dog overweight? Is our cat overweight? Is our aunt overweight? And we all have an aunt that's overweight. Everybody does. They're you know. We all have someone, and we're going to actually talk to Tony from Premier Fitness, one of the head trainers, who's going to talk a little bit about the correlation between overweight people and overweight animals, because there's you know what, a lot of people think that there's a big difference. There really isn't. Fat builds up the same type of way in people as do animals.
Right.
And not only can you consult your veterinarian for common things to see how you can, you know, put your animal on a certain diet and structure like that. But exercise is very important, and we want to talk to Tony a little bit later on the 8:30 mark to see what actually does fat do in a dog's body. For instance, I'm reading an article before I'm going to get back to it a little bit later on in the show, but the article states that some fat is actually really good for an animal. And once it's put into the system, it's actually there for a reason. They use a lot of fat in a lot of foods because it just makes the food taste better.
Right.
And certain fats are good, certain fats aren't good. It's a really interesting topic because, you know, I'm starting to work out. When, I don't know, but soon, I promise, soon. Adriana, don't worry, soon. And we're going to talk to Tony about that. Also on the show tonight, we're going to speak to Nicola from the City of Toronto. Toronto Animal Service is going to be on the show. Tonight's top sign, your dog is overweight, is going to be brought to you by our good friends at ismydogoverweight.ca. And that's going to be a little bit later on in the show. Also a good segment that's making its return this week, Law and Order.
Excited about that?
Yes, it's going to be awesome. 416-785-0680, 416-785-0680. We're going to give away a Scoop Free and some other toys. Anybody's called the program and talk about obese dogs, and what do you think? You know, just what do you think when you see people walking down the street with that? I don't know. Some interesting stuff there.
Wow, infotainment.
But first and foremost, in the news, it is not Barack Obama. It is L.A. Unleashed, a two-nosed rabbit found in Connecticut pet store. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have seen this. This has been all over the place on Entertainment Tonight. It's been everywhere. A two-nosed rabbit was found in a Connecticut pet store. Okay, unsuspecting pet store. An employee, Allison, made a strange discovery when receiving a delivery of a 6-week-old dwarf rabbit last week. And we're talking strange, sister. One of the rabbits had 2 noses. And you can see from this picture over here, the rabbit has 2 noses.
Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Isn't this interesting? Look at that.
Now that's news.
No, this is. How often do you see something like this? Now the rabbit can eat, drink, and it can hop around just the same as any other rabbit. Okay, and in the 25 years that the pet shop has been around in business, they've never heard of anything like this.
Interesting.
So
I wonder if he has a cleft palate, like a something between his nose and his mouth where there's an opening. Just
could be.
Who knows?
And the employees of this pet store, they have a campaign going on right now to get obviously a lot of attention for this. They want to name the animal, so they're giving. They want to name the rabbit, so they're giving away a don't know what they're going to give away. They're going to give away some prize for the person who can name the rabbit or come up with the best name. But the employees are kind of, a little bit of a 20-20. They want to get that rabbit a good home, but they don't want to get rid of the rabbit.
Right.
I mean, how often do you have a two-nosed rabbit? Now, my 2 cents on this is, you know what? If you're going to grow something extra on a rabbit, why not a foot?
Okay.
That's seriously. Think about it for a second. An extra foot, this rabbit's in vacation. Doesn't have to worry about anything. Worst case scenario, he still's got one left.
There you go.
So that's LA Unleashed. Also, back to our topic over here about spotlights on fat cats and dogs. Now, Deborah DeBombs is putting on quite a bit of weight these past days.
Oh, days?
Yes.
Okay.
Months.
All right.
And you know what? It's like everybody else. Deborah doesn't take any responsibility. She passes the buck onto her parents, who just go like this with a bag. You were there at the clinic one time, and you went like this with a bag, and the cat jumped up into 360, and it was like your daughter on skates. Did anything you want for it. Like I can go to Romeo and say, Romeo, sit. He'll be like, no. And I'll be like, you want a cookie? Be like, I'll drive the car. He is trained to drive cars. If you give him the incentive, he will get into a car. So basically what they're saying in this article is 1 in 3 pets are overweight, and most owners do not think they can do anything about it, according to a local survey done in the United States. Cats, dogs, or rabbit owners admitted feeding their pets too many treats with the same amount, saying they lack a little bit of exercise as well, contributing to the pet's weight problem.
Yep.
So in a situation where you have someone say, okay, put an example like my dad. My father had a stroke. He's a little bit immobilized, but he's okay. He's got a cat. He's got a small area. Now, we gave him a really good toy from our good friends at Pet Stages. We gave him one of those little laser toys.
Right.
Do you guys have the lasers where you chase around with the cats and the dogs? You've seen that, Abby? Yeah? Oh, she's seen it. Abby's seen it. She's giving me the big thumbs up. So my dad sits there, and instead of playing with the laser and just using his hand and making the cat jump around and go crazy to chase it laser, he doesn't do that. Which is exercise for the cat. So the cat's just sitting there eating and sitting down and doing nothing. Like most people in the U.S. What's the truth? Did you know? You want to know the percentages in the United States of America? I did a whole bunch of research here. Just in people. Remember, 25% of people, 25% of animals in the United States are overweight or obese.
Right.
52% of people in the United States, human beings, are obese. Do you think there is not a connection between the two? There is definitely a connection between the two.
Well, certainly in my clinic, when I see overweight pets, a large percentage of them have overweight owners. Not always, but a large percentage of them do. I've noticed that.
Yeah?
Yep. So it must be a trend. I mean, and I'll tell you, it's very difficult for me when I'm trying to talk about how we can get your pet to lose weight. It's hard to talk to owners who are very overweight themselves. That's what I find. I find it's much easier for me to look at an owner that's slim, and I almost invite them and say, well, we want your cat to kind of be similar to you, slim. And they get that,
Yeah, you're nice. I'm a little bit crude.
Okay.
I'd be like, this could work for you and your animal.
Yeah, I'd like to see how many customers come back.
Well, heck. Imagine it works. They're telling your friends, oh, my goodness, what's your trick? Oh, I went to the vet, and I lost 50 pounds. Wow. Seriously, because you know what? If it takes a vet to point out that your lifestyle is affecting your animal, I mean, that could be one of the best courses of action, I think. Because if someone told me, says, hey, Aaron, listen, your dog is overweight because you're lazy, I'd be offended at first, but then I'd think back and I'd be like, maybe he's right. I am lazy. He's right on. No one wants to tell me I'm lazy.
Yeah.
It's like when you ask your girlfriend, babe, did I put on some weight? And she's like, no. And you're like, okay, good. And then, like, why did my...
Isn't it usually the other way where it's the guy asking the
yeah,
other way?
It's all
about Aaron, of course. Right?
Yeah, well, as what they call me is they say I'm a metrosexual, basically meaning that I'm a guy who likes to look good.
Okay.
That's what it means. I'm a guy who likes to look good, right? So I always ask those questions. And she's always, oh, you look great. And I think she's lying.
Okay. We'll flush that one down the toilet and move on.